What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about a topic that I'm really interested in. We're going to take a look at the 3 skis I use to shred the mountain. I currently own 3 pairs of skis that are all designated for a specific area of skiing that I enjoy doing. This is not an extensive list. It's merely the gear I use to have fun and shred the mountain. So I would say let's get stuck into it. Roll the intro. This is not the be-all, end-all of ski setups. It's not even close. I would say, although, that it does meet the requirements that I need it to meet. I've got 3 different types of skis to meet 3 different types of conditions or terrains that I like to ski in. Ski number 1, the head caddy. It's a limited edition. It's quite an old ski, to be honest. I bought this ski in 2015 for the first time. From skiing on it for the first time, I was absolutely in love with the ski. It's super light, it's super nimble. The ski is soft in the tips and the tails to give you a good butter performance. It's very rugged underfoot and has a camber, which gives you a lot of stability, especially when skiing fast. So the ski has a super subtle P&P rocker, which is like a very light rise in tips and tails, which makes it very easy to steer and turn. The sandwich construction underfoot gives it the stability to really take a beating in the park. What I like about it is that the sidewalls are reinforced and ensures the edge hold, especially when you're skiing in tough terrain. I really enjoy skiing this ski, and I've enjoyed the ski so much that I actually bought the same ski again. So you can see back here, I've got this ski twice. First time around, I fell in love with the ski, and I loved the way it skied and behaved on piste and in the park. It was light, it was nimble, it was great on rails. You could do switch ups. It was stable enough for big jumps, and it actually was the ski that I did my first double backflip on. That really holds dear to my heart.
No way! No way! No way! No!
So these skis are phenomenal. I really enjoyed them. They are an old ski, the head caddy. They've brought out several iterations after this model. I just enjoyed it. I loved the graphic of it, the black and red. I loved how dark it was, and it just rode really nice. It felt really nice, and I just felt overall safe on the ski. That's ski number 1, designated solely for the park, even though I did rip this around on the entire mountain on piste, and I even took it into the powder a couple of times. This ski is definitely designed to meet my park needs, be a robust ski that can take a beating in the park, especially on big jumps, and be soft enough and nimble enough to hit some rails. That's ski number 1. Without further ado, ski number 2 is the Atomic Bent Shetler. This ski is a real fatty. The Atomic Bent Shetler is a ski that is designed to go ham in the powder. 120 millimeters underfoot, which gives you the float that you need when you're skiing deep powder. I'm a big guy. Meters are 189 centimeters tall, which means I ski this ski in the longest available length, in a 192, taller than I am. Because if you ski in the powder, you want as much float as you can get and as much stability as you can get, and you can achieve that by skiing just a longer ski. There's actually a couple of things that I enjoy about the ski. First of all, the feel that you get when you ski in the powder. Once you step into it and once you hit the first powder, you begin to understand why Chris Bent-Shetler designed this ski the way it was. And Chris Bent-Shetler, awesome skier, one of my absolute idols. The way he skis is just magical. The Horizon Tech in the front and the back, which is a vertical rocker in the ski tip and tail, which gives you more surface area in the tip and in the tail, which has the benefit to just give you more float when you're skiing in deep powder terrain. It's got a good rocker front and back, which gives you a nice amount of float in deep terrain. This ski feels super surfy. Once you get into the powder, it's super playful. It'll hold the edge and take you across any sort of deep terrain. It's just super fun to ski on. I set this ski up to be downhill dominant. I want to get the maximum riding performance out of the ski. This ski is definitely my free ride option. So whenever we get fresh powder, whenever we get some fresh snow, this is my weapon of choice. And I equipped it with a binding that'll allow me to go uphill and skin a couple of skin tracks to go into untracked terrain, but that does not compromise the downhill experience. So I opted in for the Atomic Shift binding, a binding that does offer a pin option so you can skin up on the mountain. One sec. You have these pins in your ski boot that'll hook into the front of the binding, and with these hooked in, you can lock this entire system into place, and that'll give your foot the ability to lever freely in the binding, so you can actually skin up the skin track. Converts back to ski mode. which then allows the ski boot to be bolted into the ski just as a regular alpine binding would. You have the same amount of suspension, you have the same amount of control, and you have the same amount of security in this binding. So this is definitely a binding that I trust, provides me the necessary stability and security when going downhill, but is a medium weight option that allows me to go uphill. It's definitely one of my dream setups. Got the really lightweight boot, a medium weight pin binding that converts back to an alpine binding to give you security, a really nice ski that gives me the ability to reach untracked terrain through skinning. So yeah, awesome ski. And I think it's time for ski number 3. The latest addition to the quiver. It is the Faction Prodigy 2.0 Dragon Collab. That's a mouthful. I bought this ski to solve a specific problem that I've been experiencing in the combination of both my head caddy and the Atomic Bench Hitler. The head caddy is a very narrow ski, mostly directed towards park skiing, and the Atomic Bench Hitler is an extremely wide ski, mostly directed to powder skiing. So they're both on opposite ends of the spectrum. So I wanted a ski that is rigid enough to hit big park jumps. I wanted a ski that is playful for rails, but I also wanted a ski that has enough float for me to use it in terrain that is a little bit roughed up, or if we have 10 or 20 centimeters of fresh snow, just to give me a little bit more float than the head caddy would, for instance. The binding that I put onto this is the Look Pivot 18. I opted in for this binding because when in the park and landing switch, you apply heaps of pressure onto your heel piece, and the Tyrolia attack that I mounted on my caddy couldn't cope with the stress anymore. It would release prematurely. Yeah, that's never good. Nah. Okay, whatever. I opted into this binding because the Look binding has the ability to lever with the boot under stress. It has some leeway to go with if you apply stress on it. This is one of the toughest bindings that I know of, and I wanted to give it a try. I said that I had a 3 ski quiver. That is true because I have 3 separate skis. I do have the caddy twice, so technically it is a 4 ski quiver. Yeah, this is my setup. I've got the head caddy on the one end of the spectrum, designated directly for park, super light, super nimble. I've got the Faction Prodigy 2.0 Dragon Collaboration ski that sits right in the center of the spectrum. It's wide enough for rough terrain, but it's also rigid enough to hit big park jumps, but playful enough to hit some rails. And then I have the Atomic Bench Hitler on the other side of the spectrum that is designated specifically to powder skiing and backcountry skiing to give me the necessary float I need to really shred in deep powder. And I can't wait for ski lifts to open up again so we can all go out and shred some more. With that being said, that's all for me. If you're still here, I appreciate you watching my videos, and I would really appreciate if you subscribe to the channel and like the video. Stay home, stay safe, peace, we're out. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, respect to the old school and new, lest we forget. Now we've come a long way to the pain and loving to get the feeling of freedom we wouldn't change for nothing.